Hello and welcome to another episode of The Art of Kicking Ass Elegantly TV, which is all about learning to kick ass elegantly in business, in fitness, in love and in life. I'm channeling my 1980s inner rock child Kim Wilde look today, and today I'm going to be chatting with you about what you need to do when you start to have really strong self-doubt about your ability to succeed in business. It would be really awesome if we decided on a business idea and we started to follow through and everything went perfectly and there were no bumps in the road. Wouldn't that be awesome? There'd be a lot more success in the world, that's for sure. But unfortunately, things don't work out that way. And sometimes you can be working your ass off and you can be doing all of the right things and it feels like you're not paying off. I've just recently had an email from a client of mine who, there is no doubt in my mind that her business is going to go insanely, just go off this year. And she'll be doing six figures in no time. And the potential for scalability in her business is insane. And quite often I'm having to remind her that success is not always instantaneous and that she's just got to hang in there and keep doing the right things. But the self-doubt can creep in and it can do bad things to your head and you can create all sorts of bad juju that grabs hold and can create a downward spiral. So we've got to be really careful not to give in to that stuff. If we don't have 100% faith in our own ability to make this thing work, then where are we? As an aside, I was recently watching a show and caught some time on this television show, and it was a couple and they were struggling in their relationship, and the woman had said about the man, he wanted to go into his own business and he was reading all these books about people who, they create these businesses and they become a millionaire overnight and, he's living in dreamland. And I just thought, oh, wow, I could never live in a relationship like that. Sometimes, I've got pretty strong self-belief, but I'm human, and there are times of doubt. And I don't need someone else doubting my abilities to succeed and pouring that sort of crap on top of the stuff that you're already battling, And so we do, we are hard on ourselves and we do forget what success looks like sometimes. And so, number one, it's important to surround yourself with people who believe in you. So a good coach or a good mentor is often better than a friend, because friends are going to tell you what you want to hear. Your family's going to tell you what you want to hear. Sometimes they're going to tell you what you don't want to hear, and not because they have a deep understanding, but just because they're like that wife. It's just like, I'm not seeing the results in 5 minutes, so he needs to go out and get a job sort of thing. You don't need that in your life. One of the things that I find brings me back is just getting super aligned again. If you've been watching any of my stuff, everything starts from a vision. And I've constantly over the years created visions for myself about how I want my life to look over the next 12 months. And most of the time I nail it. And if I don't, I put it down to myself and getting in my own way. But I'm always close or well on the way. And so in the vision, in those first moments, that's when it's so pure. That's when we are looking at the potential. None of our shit's got in the way yet, and we're just looking at our true potential. We're looking and we're writing from a place of what we actually believe in the moment. And in that moment, the purity is there. There's no self-doubt, there's no nagging, limitations sitting on our shoulders or anything like that. It is all about this pure, unadulterated belief that we can do this. And that's where we need to be. So when we're feeling like, we're putting in all this effort and nothing's happening for it, go back to that and remind yourself about what is possible. And that will change the way that you go about your day. If you go back and you can get back into that place and be reminded that you thought that was possible and you absolutely, without any shadow of a doubt, knew that you could do that in that moment, that's where you need to get back to. And you have to also understand that, everybody thinks that they can be an overnight success, or if they get the formula right, they'll hit the ground running and achieve six figures overnight. look, it does happen, but usually it's not overnight. Usually it's the decade before that we haven't seen. It's just when all of the moon and stars aligned and they get the message right, the branding right, the market right, all that sort of stuff. But it's never an overnight success. And so knowing that this stuff takes time, and you've got to look ahead, not even 3 months, but at least 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, and be thinking about, anything over that span of time is going to have peaks and troughs all the time. And so if you focus on the trough that you're in right now, it's very hard to get out of it. So if you can look ahead and say, well, this is where I'm headed, and this is just a temporary thing, and I just need to figure this next bit out, and then that'll take me to the next level or step or whatever it is for you. So, knowing that this is temporary and it's so short term, you've got to think longer term. The longer I'm in this brand, I hit the ground running, and I did have the almost overnight success, but that was after a year, over a decade of grinding away. It was when I got clear on a few things that it all changed for me. And it's the same for everybody else. But, the longer I'm in this brand, the more potential I see that it has. There has also been, I alluded to it in, I think, the last video, that there was a tendency to feel like this is too easy, and it feels like, I'm not doing enough and all that sort of stuff. So I wanted to try and create more stuff, when really that's not what I needed to do. I just needed to remind myself that, what I've got coming up is, my Sydney events, and then hopefully my Sydney mastermind. I'm still determining whether I run a live mastermind there or put people on my Kick-Ass Academy online and coach them. So I'm still working that out. But my events will be running, and I love those events. I'm running my next mastermind in Melbourne in July, and I'll be running my events in May and June. So, getting myself back in tune with that, starting to run my ads for the Sydney event. I got clarity about what that Sydney event was about in the end. As I say, there's some slight tweaking about what I plan to do with the participants who want to continue working with me beyond that. But, I know it's either plan A or plan B, and I just need to, make a decision on that. But Melbourne is very spelled out. All I had to do was go back to my vision, look at it, and remember, this was the thing. And I just need to focus on that. And I'm feeling super aligned, super excited. The shift has occurred, and I'm excited about Sydney now instead of thinking, what am I going to do with Sydney? The other thing that I alluded to was that sometimes we forget what success looks like. And so I'm thinking about my particular client that I received an email from this morning, and she's forgetting what success used to look like, because it used to look like being invited to participate in summits, being invited to do keynotes, being invited to collaborate with people that she had been watching from afar, having so many clients booked in that she's actually got no time left to take on anymore. And we're looking at developing her scalable online version of the program. So, not very long ago, that would have been success beyond her wildest dreams. But right now, the next level isn't happening fast enough. And so she's forgotten that that's actually, just another step. It doesn't mean that she's failing. She's actually reached that level and not even acknowledged it yet. And maybe that's where the work needs to come from in our session that we're having later today. The acknowledgement of, hang on a minute, it's not like nothing's happened. Look at all these amazing things that have happened, and now you're just waiting for the next step to occur. So we need to work our way through that. Anyway, so if you're feeling like you're never going to succeed and all that, if you're in that space, then really go back and create that vision. If you haven't done that yet, go to my website and download my free visioning tool. There's a video there along with that as well, and get your clarity there. But anything that you did in the early days of your business where you actually, where you absolutely with 100% conviction believed that was going to be the success, go back and look at that, because it's all there. It's just likely that you've shifted away from it because things got a little bit tough, or you started to tell yourself a crap story that doesn't serve you. So go look at that stuff, and then, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, get ready to fight another day, but with more clarity and more focus and in a much more aligned way. And you will get there, I promise. Bye.